That's better. All right, good afternoon. So, 12 o'clock. We'll get started for our midday Monday flow this morning. So, looks good. All right, so we can either be doing this one live or, as always, save to Facebook for a later date. You can also save these into your own folder, I'm fairly certain, of your own Facebook account. I think you can do favourites or set up favourites. So if there is ever a flow that you want to save for another time, just at home in your own time, you can always do that. But we'll get started on today's 30-minute flow. I was thinking a bit of a focus of hips and hamstrings this morning, just given the nature of the week that it's been with all this wet weather. I'm sure a lot of us have been indoors, sitting down, not a lot of movement. So we will get started in our Shavasana. Check my mic there. As we lay down, so taking this moment, middle of the day, if we're watching live, but regardless, just a moment to ourselves to stop, to slow down, even if it is just to take a few deeper breaths, whether this is a break during our workday. Maybe we prefer to practice at the end of a day, or maybe we like to start our day with our practice. But it's always a good time to just take a moment. Especially the busier that we are, the more important it is to just take these times to stop. Give the body a break, not just if we've been moving around a lot, but also if we've been sedentary. Usually it is in that sitting position. And then of course giving the mind a break from whatever we've been working on, work-related or other. It's that rolling stone that once it gets going, it's very hard to stop. So we're allowing it to just come to settle in its own time across this practice. There's no urgency. And just little by little, we bring our focus into what's happening in the here and now. As we observe the breath, that gentle flow of air. Each exhale, deepening into this comfort a little further. And then when we're ready, adding our wriggle to the fingers and the toes. Hugging those knees towards center, tucking into the chest, squeezing into our ball, our gentle side to side. And then bringing the legs together, resting the hands against the knees. We'll take some hip circles, just moving with the breath. Inhales out and around, exhales, draw us back to center. We're going to change direction with the breath. So inhale, opposite side. Exhale, back through middle. Taking 2 more rounds. Coming back towards the chest. Moving with this breath, we'll take our butterfly circles now. Exhale, knees towards the chest a little further. Inhales, out towards the front of our mat. And then knees coming back towards each other. Exhale, knees into chest. Inhale, opening out wide. We're going to change directions. Inhale, taking those knees away. Out, around, and then exhale, back in. And knees back to middle. We're going to come into our happy baby. We can take hold of those big toes. With the peace fingers, we can wrap the hands around the outer edges of the feet. We might like to take along the shins or even those hands to hamstrings, maybe with those knees bent a little further if we're tight through those hamstrings, but making sure we can rest the head down against the mat. Bringing those knees to the outside of the body, we can add a little roll around here if we'd like to. Or another option, if we'd like to get into these hamstrings a little earlier, we can start to press out through one heel on inhale, and then exhale, bending through that knee again, swapping sides. So we're just alternating, bringing in a little bit of length into the hamstrings. So just noticing how they're feeling during the beginning of this practice. Any tightness, any tension, maybe this is a spot for us if we've got those steel rods that run down the backs of our legs. It might be nice to just get this gentle stretch, this dynamic opening to begin with. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. And hugging all the way into our ball, squeezing our knees in, we'll rock and roll, coming up to seated. And starting cross-legged. If it's uncomfortable, if we prefer to take one or both legs out, we can, but just settling into the sit bones into our mats. We're going to interlace these fingers into the lap. Sitting nice and tall, softening the shoulders. We'll inhale, drawing those hands up towards the chest, and as if we exhale, pressing away, rounding through that spine. Our round the world breath as we inhale, rising up. Exhale, release the hands, bringing those fingertips to interlace behind the hips. Inhale, opening across the collarbones. Exhale, hands back to the lap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, big push. Inhale, rise it tall. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, heart opening. Exhale, hands back through center. Once more, inhale, lift. Turn, press away, lengthen through the arms around the spine. Inhale, tall as we can, lifting up through the sides of the torso, and then exhale, bringing those hands behind, interlacing fingers. Inhale, get tall, opening. Exhale, hands back to lap. We're going to walk these hands forwards, taking our fold, lengthening this lower back, keeping the back of the neck long as well. Try not to have that chin poking. Exhales, just softening in here. Now it may be that we're tight through that lower back. We can bring those hands in as close as we'd like to. It might be a deep fold. It might just be a shallow one. We're listening into the lower back. And our body is going to determine how far we go into each posture. We'll walk these hands out to the left-hand side, folding over the left leg. So we're opening more through that right side of the body, that QL. And walking hands out to the right-hand side. Hands back to center, walking them in, getting nice and long through the spine now. We're going to take our right leg out nice and long in front of us, tucking that left foot in. We'll get into these hamstrings. So facing over this front leg, we're going to flow with the breath. We're going to take an inhale, reaching up through the arms. And as we exhale, folding forwards, taking that reach long. But on our next inhale, we're going to draw back, sitting tall, reaching up through the arms. And then exhale, take our fold, just noticing we might get a little bit more length through that reach. One more time. Inhale, reaching up, extending. Exhale, keeping that length, finding our fold. We might like to take hold of the foot or the leg, or we can rest them on top or to the sides with the hands, but just whatever's feeling best for us. Bending that knee as much as we'd like to as well. If we're getting that tight, tingling sensation beneath the back of the knee, bend that knee. Get that opening through the hamstring. Deep breaths. releasing hold, sitting tall, lengthening out through the left leg, tucking that right foot in. So squaring up, let's take our breath in, rise. And breath out, fold. Flowing here, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forwards. One more time, inhale, long up through this upper body. Exhale, fold, finding that hold or that resting position for the hands. Breathe to the belly. And sitting ourselves up, bringing the feet back in, seated position. Lengthening long through the spine, taking that ear towards the shoulder, opening the right side of the neck. And relaxing slightly, turning that head to side, chin tucking in. And changing sides, so facing middle, right arm resting against the head, lengthening through the left. Turning to face our side, chin tuck. And release, hands walking forwards, tabletop. So stacking the shoulders, elbows, palms, knees under hips, inhale, opening the chest, drop the belly, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, pressing into our rounding. Firm into the mat with the hands, inhale, open. Exhale, tucking. 2 more rounds. And relaxing back into the length of the spine, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Press into the ground, so we're pushing into that lift of the sit bones up towards the ceiling. We can pedal out through the feet here. We can relax both heels towards the mat if we prefer, bending the knees as much as we'd like, but just keeping that chest drawing towards the thighs as we take our lift. So if we're lengthening the legs, but we're hunching through the back, bend those knees, get that lengthening through the spine. When we're ready, walking those feet to the front of our mats, taking our fold here. So hands to opposite elbows, relax the head, gentle sway side to side. towards center, releasing fingers towards the floor. Inhale our half lift, palms running up the shins, lengthen the spine. Exhale, folding forwards. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees, rising tall, reaching up, extending through the fingertips, and then exhale, diving over. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. And then bringing our hands to the mat, we're going to step our right foot back, reaching up through the arms, taking our crescent lunge. Settling for a breath. Take another inhale. Exhale, hands to mat, stepping that left foot back to meet in our high plank. Take a breath in at the top. Chaturanga as we lower down. Inhale, open. Exhale, downward facing dog. With our gaze between the hands, bending knees, bringing those feet to the front of our mats, half lift. Exhale, fold. Reaching taller now, inhale, getting long through the body. Nice and upright, exhale, folding forwards. Half lift. Hands to floor, stepping that left foot back this time. Inhale, reaching up, tall through the torso. Settling, exhale. Inhale, keeping those arms reaching up. Exhale, frame the foot. Stepping to our plank. Take our breath. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Gaze center front. Bend knees. Step or hop. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Reaching tall. This time adding a little extra back bend on our exhale, opening through that heart, engaging the glutes, strong core, inhale, lift. Exhale, dive. Half lift. And with our hands to mat, stepping or hopping those feet back to our plank. Taking our breath in, switching that core on, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, opening. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that left heel tall, lengthening that left leg, stepping it through between the hands. Rising up for our crescent lunge. And this time we're going to bring the hands towards the hips. We're going to half step that right foot forwards on about a 45-degree angle, lengthening through that left leg. Open the chest on an inhale, exhale, folding forwards. We can bring those hands to mat. We can rest them to the thigh. We can rest them to the hips, or even interlacing the fingers behind the back, getting that length through the spine, pointing the crown of the head towards the front of our room. Creating length through that back of our left leg. So we're pressing that foot into the earth, drawing back and up through that left hip. Breathe to belly, rise it into the chest. On our next inhale, bringing the torso nice and tall, we're going to step that right foot back again. We're going to bring it to 90 degrees this time, taking our warrior two, but we're going to keep long through that left leg. As we inhale, extending forward through the fingertips, bringing the hand to rest to either the shin or fingertips towards the mat, long through that right arm, coming into our Trikonasana. So opening through that inner left thigh, maybe a little bit of length through that right side body. Deep breath in. On our exhale, that top hand to the mat, we're going to step that right foot to the left side of our left foot. So we're wrapping the legs, unless it's uncomfortable, keep them side by side. Let's inhale a half lift. And as we exhale, folding forwards here. So we're focusing that lengthening now down the back of the right leg. Slowly uncurling our way to standing. We'll bring those hands up through heart center. Releasing our wrap, so placing that right foot back to our right side. Inhale, reach up through the arms. Exhale, folding forwards. half lift, high plank, take our breath, chaturanga, opening, downward facing dog. Inhale, right heel lifts, lengthening the right leg, bend the knees, stepping through, crescent lunge, rise up tall. Exhale, hands to hips, taking our time. We can take an extra breath here if we'd like to. Half step that left foot forward, bring it to that 45, lengthening the right leg. Facing front, inhale, open, exhale, fold. Option, that hand placement to mat, to thigh, to hips, to interlacing behind. Getting long through the spine, gentle tuck of the chin. Folding from the hips. Still strong through the legs. We're not just dumping our weight here. We're supported. Pressing the soles of the feet into the earth. Gently drawing back through the right hip. Breathing to belly. Expanding into the chest. Relax from the chest down and out from the belly. Inhale, torso tall. Stepping that left foot back 90 degrees, lengthening the right leg, extending out through the arm. Take a breath in, reaching forwards through those fingertips, finding our way to our triangle. One more breath in. Exhale, top hand to mat. Take our time stepping that left foot, right side of the right foot. Taking our wrap or side by side. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And slowly uncurling. Hands to heart, bringing that left foot side by side with the right. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Stepping or hopping back, continuing through this flow. Remember, we can slow this down. We can take an extra breath through each posture if we'd like. We know we're always going to end up in that downward dog position before we move into other postures, so take our time, or we can even skip flows and just come directly into that downward facing dog if we'd like a few extra breaths here. Let's inhale that left heel towards the sky, stepping through between the hands, taking a low lunge this time, bringing that right knee towards the floor. Actually, we'll take it out. We'll bring that left foot off the mat, so both hands on the inside of that left foot for our lizard lunge. So we can stay with hands to mat. We can bring ourselves down to the elbows if that's available and comfortable. If we'd like to take hold of that back foot, we can. Opening up through that hip flexor. A really good one for easing tension through the lower back if you've done my classes in person or these live classes with me before. You know this is one that I include in almost every single one of my classes. Getting that opening through the hips. See if we can keep that left knee over the heel. If that foot is back and that knee's forward, we're just putting more pressure on the quad. Keeping that focus through the hips with that foot forwards. And with both hands back to the mat, we're going to step that left foot back for our plank. Take our breath. Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. right heel to rise, inhale, lengthen. Stepping outside the right foot, the right hand. We can ease that left knee to the mat, finding our option here, either deepening through the torso or taking our hold of the foot. And relaxing the back foot, hands to mat. Tuck toes, stepping that right foot to plank. Hug the core, exhale, chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. In this downward dog position, we're going to walk the hands in a little bit closer towards each other. So when we gaze forwards, we can step or hop the feet outside the hands this time. So coming into our Yogi Squat. I'll do this one front facing. So if we can ground the heels, ground the heels. If you've got ankles like mine, they'll hover off. But just bringing those elbows towards the inner thigh, pressing the palms in, or even the fingertips for that little bit deeper opening. Getting that lengthening through the inner thighs and the groin. Deep breaths. And then relaxing the arms. We'll take one or both behind us, coming into our seated position so we can lower our hips towards the floor. And rolling or gently unraveling those vertebrae down to the mat, resting the head, heels in towards the hips. And nice gentle side to side. And keeping these legs together, we'll point them out over to that right hand side, just taking a gentle twist here. So keeping that chest open, shoulder blades grounded to the earth. And to the opposite side. And back to middle. Soles of the feet turning in, legs opening out to the sides. We can have the arms relaxed to the sides. We can take one to belly, one to heart, focusing into the breath. Or hands to opposite elbows overhead. Getting that nice, open, freeing feeling through the breath. Legs in towards center. Lengthening them out, relaxing the arms by the sides, coming back into the Shavasana position with the eyes resting closed. Getting settled back through the body here as we take these last couple of minutes to just turn inwards. Taking a nice deep breath in, and deep breath out. As we wriggle through the fingers and the toes, inhaling arms to reach overhead, a nice big final stretch through the body. As we gently roll to our sides. Making our way up to seated, with length through the spine and hands to heart center, and gently lowering the eyelids. And taking this moment at the end of each practice to be grateful to ourselves for taking this time to come to our mats today and practice this self-care. As we bow our heads to our hands, we honor ourselves and each other with Namaste. Thank you very much, everybody. Happy Monday, and if you're in Southeast Queensland, possibly working from home at the moment, hope everyone's staying dry and well and keeping off the roads as best they can. All the best, and thank you very much for joining me this morning. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.